Hi, I'm Jamie. Welcome to the CDNify podcast. Today I'm excited to announce I'm joined by Hugo Giraudel, front-end developer based in France. Hugo is a CSS and JavaScript expert focusing primarily on Sass. He writes for sites like Tuts Plus, SitePoint, CSS Tricks, Code Drops, and Web Design Weekly. He's also the author of Browser Hacks and SassDoc. Today we're going to be chatting about Sass frameworks, 3D JavaScript games, and SassDoc. So to get things started, do you mind telling everyone a little bit about yourself and the work you do?
Hey, yeah, sure. So I'm a front-end developer from France. I'm mostly self-taught, actually. I'm currently working in an affiliate from a huge banking group on a e-commerce website. I'm in charge with the front-end side of an e-commerce website. So it's pretty nice. Aside of my daily job, I do a lot of open source work and articles, as you may have noticed. So yeah, Browser Hacks and SassDoc are definitely my main side projects. And that's pretty much it.
Oh, cool. I mean, like you just said, you were self-taught. I mean, how did you go about getting started?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think you just need to be really curious for starter. So once you have found some kind of language or something that gets you interested in, you just search for information about it, and most importantly, try to code. You have to code to get better at coding.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't exactly know how I got that skilled with Sass. I just kept doing things over and over again for maybe 1 year or 1 year and a half, and yeah, eventually, you know the language, you know how it works, and it just gets easy.
Mm-hmm. So it's just curiosity that pulled you along. Yeah, that's cool. I was actually I was checking out Browser Hacks before and found some really useful stuff on there. I wondered if you have any favorite browser specific hacks you'd like to share.
Well, first, in most cases, you shouldn't be using any hacks. Let's remind it's not the solution. It's better to test for features than platforms and browsers and versions. So whenever you can, just do things right and load some modernizer or add supports and test for features. No, browser hacks was needed, nevertheless, because sometimes you just have to. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I have any specific hack that I love over the others. I think selector-based hacks are better than the others because they are usually pretty safe. Using, for instance, body last child to get rid of Internet Explorer 7 and 8. Those kind of selectors are not really hacked, actually, and so it's cool to check those one. Mm-hmm. We have some pretty clever hacks with at media queries, but I don't like them much because they force you to write your code in a media block, which is not ideal, obviously. So yeah, there is one hack I really enjoy for Firefox is Atmos documents. It's a proprietary directive from Mozilla, and it works really great when you have to exclude Firefox from a group rule.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's cool. So I mean, moving on to my next question, which is going to focus on the 3D element of JavaScript, is that there's been quite a lot of 3D JavaScript games cropping up on the web. Like there's freejs.org, and there's also babylonjs.com. Do you think this is where JavaScript is heading over the next few years? That's quite a tough question.
Actually, I don't do much JavaScript, so I'm not sure I'm the best person to reply to this question, but I give my opinion nevertheless. There are more and more possibilities every day with JavaScript, especially when it comes to mobile, because you have access to a shitload of JavaScript API, like notification, battery, vibration, and all those really cool HTML5 JavaScript APIs. So obviously you can do really advanced games with that. Regarding 3D now, the good thing is browsers are getting good, are getting really good, and JavaScript's performance are getting good as well. So I suppose it's more and more an option to build a game only with JavaScript when it comes to 3D. Also, there is a lot of things you can do with CSS when it comes to 3D, so you just need to be good with it, which is obviously not my case, but you can do a lot with CSS 3D now.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, there was a game that I recently came across that was I think it was entirely in JavaScript. It was Assassin's Creed. And that was entirely in JavaScript, I think. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's Assassin's Creed. I call Assassin's Creed JL. And that's basically doing what the same thing as freejs.org's doing, like with loads of not necessarily. I mean, like on there, there's not necessarily games on there. It's just like cool little 3D things that you can play about with, like a map. Or like a world map, and you can sort of spin it around and So I've read a few articles on your site.
I just want to add something. Maybe you've heard of Unity.
Yeah,
it's a game engine, and for years now, Unity have been using JavaScript as one of the possible scripting languages for games. So actually, JavaScript is already used in games for a while now. But perhaps your question was more about JavaScript in the browser rather than JavaScript in the Unity environment. Mm-hmm. So there's that.
Yeah, that's cool. So moving on, I've actually I checked out your site, and I read a few articles which focused on Sass and CSS, and I'm interested to know why you chose front-end instead of back-end languages.
Well, I'm kind of a visual person, so I like to see what's been done. So when I code, could it be CSS or JavaScript or anything, I enjoy refreshing the browser so I can see what I've done. This is something you don't get with backend languages, because you're just building the structure and the gears of the whole system. So I think it's most likely the visual components from frontend that's got me stuck into. But at work, I have to do more and more PHP, and it's actually pretty nice. Yeah, I enjoy it as well.
So you prefer the visual element over back-end stuff, like with PHP. You can't really see what's going on, and then you get to the harder.
You can see the mistakes and when it crashes. But you get the point.
Yeah. you've written a few articles on places like SitePoint, so it's Plus, like I mentioned, and you wrote an article the other month on SitePoint about Sass frameworks. I think that was Compass versus Bourbon, and I wondered which ones you would recommend.
Well, it's a tough one as well because on one side you have Compass, which is maintained by Chris Epstein, which is one of the two main developers in the Sass community. Mm-hmm. So Compass is really tied to Sass. Most of it is written in Ruby, and it has this amazing sprite builder where you can just give it a folder of images, and it compiles and do some magic stuff, and you get a single image with all your images in there, which is kind of an amazing tool, and I think nobody has ever done something quite close to what Compass does on this side. So if you need this whole image thing, I think Compass is a no-brainer, and you have to take it. On the other side, you have Bourbon, which is an amazing framework because it's very lightweight. You can import only specific models from it, which is also the case in Compass actually. But Bourbon isn't written in Ruby, but only in Sass. So it's quite fast actually compared to Compass. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, both do a lot of things. What's quite cool with Bourbon is it goes very well with Neat, which is a grid system from the same author, and Bitters, which is component libraries, and Refills, which is helpers library. So you have all those projects that go very well one with the other because they are all made by a ThoughtBot team. So it really depends on what you want. My opinion is if you need the sprite builder, you take Compass. Otherwise, you take Bourbon.
Okay. I mean, would you prefer a faster framework over? Because you said Bourbon was quite
faster. Yeah. Well, at work we use neither, so I decided at work that we would just use Sass and no framework over it. But I think faster is usually a good thing, knowing that Ruby Sass is quite slow. That's why there is libsass, right? Which is a C port of Sass, which is amazingly fast. It's impressive. So I think it's the main issue with Compass. It's just more Ruby over Sass, and it's just slower. So
yeah, I think it's safe to say that you know your stuff about Sass. When you first started out, did you have any major issues or pet peeves with Sass?
Well, yeah. I did. The main problem is I had no idea what I was doing. Mm-hmm. I faced the same issue as everybody, like too much nesting, too much selector nesting, and some weird stuff with string concatenation, where you don't understand why it doesn't work, and that's because you have to concatenate the string in the selector or anything. And I think until a couple of maybe months ago, my main issue was over-engineering things. I used to go too far into Sass syntax, and sometimes you have to remind yourself that you're just writing CSS, so you don't have to over engineering everything. And I think that's the main problem with the Sass community. We have an amazing tool. Sass is a wonderful CSS preprocessor, but we tend to do too much with it, especially in production environments. When you experiment with Sass, it's okay to do silly stuff. When you build a whole project, a whole site upon something really complicated, you're heading to big troubles, because there are high chances that you're the only one that can understand what's going on. So just keep it simple. In the end, helpers and mixin and everything is fine, as long as you keep the control over it.
Yeah.
Right?
So basically, don't over-engineer it.
That's the main issue with many developers, including me.
Much like JSDoc, you've written and recently launched an extremely useful documentation for Sass files called SassDoc. For those that don't know, can you explain what it is and how it can help developers?
Yeah, SassDoc. It's amazing. So most programming languages have a way to write documentation from comments. JSDoc is one example. So you would have a function, for instance, and then there's this huge command block right over it, and it goes at parameter this thing and at return this thing. And not only does it help understanding what the function is when you read the code, but also this can be used to generate some beautiful documentation on the side. So basically that's what SassDoc is about. You just install the package, the node package, and then you run it against your Sass folder, and you end up with some HTML file which is fully styled and really very beautiful, if you ask me. And there is all those things, all those items. That's how we call it. All those items that you've documented in your code that is now explicitly output in the HTML file. So it's kind of cool to have this tool. The thing is, this is not the first try on SassDoc. There are, if you have a little search on SassDoc on GitHub, you realize there are like dozens of repositories called SassDoc.
Ah, right.
Yeah, and most of them are either forgotten or just not good enough, not powerful enough. So we wanted to give it a try. We are four guys working on this.
Yeah.
And we are really glad with what we've come up with as of today, and it's only the beginning. It's currently in version 1.1. which is already really cool and fully usable, but we are really close to 1.2, which will bring much more awesomeness on the table, especially since you'll be able to write your own templates and your own themes, and so you'll have the full control over the style of generated documentation.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome. If you want to just give it a try and even contribute, it's amazing. But there are a lot of things we'd like to add, and so I hope you'll enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you should just have like a big marketing push where it's just your quote. that says it's amazing, and that will sell it alone. That will like drive people to start using it then.
Yeah, it's.
But I've checked it out, and it does seem like the thing that stood out the most about it that from other SassDocs is its simplicity, and it just looks easy to use.
Yeah, that's one thing we really wanted to write. Some SassDoc projects were kind of difficult to use. In our projects, all you have to do is run a single command line. Mm-hmm. So it's SassDoc, and then the source folder, and then the destination folder you want to have. And if you want to, some options, but you're not forced to. So yeah, but basically it's just two arguments: one folder for the source and one folder for the destination. So. Yeah. So it's really easy to use, and still you can push things further by using it in your Node applications. We even have some grunt and gulp plugins already. So if you want to use SassDoc as your deployment process or anything, there's already 2 plugins ready for you. So yeah, it should be really easy to use to anybody wanting to document their files. The hardest part is writing the comments in the Sass files, actually.
I can imagine. So moving on to my next question, web performance has increased a lot over the past few years, and we've seen which is giving users a better experience. What do you think we'll see in terms of performance in the next few years, and how do you think it will affect the end user? I mean, this could be. Yeah,
I'm thinking about it. Well, I think the main improvements we've done in the last couple of years with performance is browsers. We now have really fast browsers. Chrome is like blazingly quick, and Firefox is getting really quick as well. Since Opera is based on Blink, which is the same engine as Chrome, it's really fast, and Internet Explorer is progressively catching up with all the mistakes it has done in the last few years. So we are progressively moving to an evergreen browser for everybody. Mm-hmm. As time flies, Internet Explorer 8 is progressively dropping. So
that's good.
And then Internet Explorer 9 and 10 are basically dead right now, because starting from Internet Explorer 9, everything is automatically updated. So most people using Internet Explorer are either using version 8 or 11. Mm. So once IE8 will be dead for good, browser background will be really nice, and it's a huge deal when it comes to web performance, because JavaScript engine will be able to move the web forward, and same we will be able to use CSS models like Flexbox and Grid module, which are really quick right now, really fast. So the main problem we have with the web right now, especially for those of us who are tied to a corporate world where you have to support IE8, is the problem is IE8, and even 7 for the unlucky.
Yeah, I mean that support's still sort of got to be there in the business world at the moment anyway, until it dies, which it is doing slowly.
Yeah, once it is dead, it will be great. So aside of that, I think most people building website today are more and more convinced of the importance of web performance, especially since now everything is about mobile, and it's not going to stop anytime soon, because the more we move forward, the more we move to a mobile landscape. So yeah, I think most developers are well aware of the importance of getting things right from the beginning, so performance are good.
Yeah,
it's very important, because a couple of years back, no one gave a shit, really. So I think
that is very true. I mean, I remember 5 years ago, I would hit like a news site like BBC News or whatever, and it was just so slow to load. But like, I mean, like, still, like, I think that's a major corporate. That's like a big corporate site. So that's quite slow in comparison to some other sites. But as years have passed, it's been kind of, that structure has to be in place where everything has to be optimized. Everything has to be a bit quicker then, because there's so much stuff out there that you want to serve stuff to people as quickly as possible. Even that's with optimizing stuff in the browser itself, or just on the web. I think that's what everyone's trying to do now anyway. And
that's good. That's really cool. Yeah. And plus, we have some amazing actors in this community, especially the Fileman Group agency, which is doing a tremendous amount of work when it comes to responsive design and performance.
That's cool.
And their site is blazingly fast. It's incredible. So they know their stuff for sure.
Yeah.
And they share it, which is what's really nice, is because now having an optimized front end is not that hard. I mean, every tiny byte of information is out there, and you just have to do things right from the beginning, and not think of performance once everything has been done. It's not just the ice on top of the cake. It's something you have to build your sites.
I totally agree. Yeah. So to finally wrap things up, have you any upcoming projects you're excited to be working on? You did mention you were nearly rolling out version 1.2 for SassDoc.
There is that. I think in a week we should be heading to 1.2. It's almost done. We just need to run some tests, wrap everything up, and everything. Aside of that, I'm currently writing a book, so it will be fully released at the end of the year. Unfortunately, or fortunately for some people, it's a French book, so I can't. I don't have the rights to translate it for now, so it will stay in French for a while. But I'm really excited and really looking forward to having this book in my hands.
And where can people find your book once it's released?
It will be sold pretty much anywhere, like Amazon or I don't know. I think Amazon France, because since it's a French book, I don't think it will be sold on Amazon.com. So it's a book on CSS3, and I think it will be a great because I'm dealing with a lot of new stuff in it, like Flexbox and grid module and animation, transforms, and everything. So it's going to be pretty cool. Plus, Chris Coyer did the preface. I'm not sure what's the word for it. The first part of the book.
Oh, right, that's cool.
So yeah, it's going to be great. I hope so.
Well, I can't wait to read it. Well, when it comes out in English. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I could ask the publisher if I could, get the rights to translate it, but it's so much work. Even to write it in my native language, it's like a tremendous amount of work. So translating it, I don't think I will ever have the courage to do that. It's too much.
Well, hopefully it does come out in English because I mean I would pretty much say that it would be a good read. So yeah. But yeah, I'm quite excited. I'm quite excited for version 1.2 of SassDoc, and I hope everything goes well with that. Like you said, it's at the moment it's just been released, and I think it's going to do quite well. And yeah, I mean it's been very nice talking to you, Hugo.
Yeah, same.
So thanks for coming to the podcast.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you for having me. It's really nice. So yeah, if you need anything regarding Sass or an article or anything with SassDoc, be sure to ask.
Yeah, sure, we'll do. And for those that are stuck around, we're offering an exclusive deal. Use the code SassDoc25 to get 25% off for life on any monthly plan. And that's SassDoc, SassDoc25. And then head on over to CDNify.com/pricing.